Hey there, in this video we're going to be going over the 2022-2023 TMSCA General Math Test number 6. Let's do it. Next, which of the following values is 2/3 the value of the multiplicative inverse of 1 2/3? Alright, first, what is multiplicative inverse? Multiplicative inverse is just another fancy way of saying the reciprocal. The reciprocal is just when you take a number, for example, x over y. This is a fraction, and you change it to y over x by flipping the numerator and denominator. Alright, so we first have the number 1 2/3. We need to turn this into an improper fraction. 1 2/3 is an improper fraction, it's just 5/3. Alright, now let's find the reciprocal of 5/3. That's just 3 over 5. Alright, now we can find 2/3 of 3 over 5. So that's 2 times 3 over 3 times 5, which is 6 over 15. Now 6 and 15 are both multiples of 3, meaning we can divide both the top and bottom by 3 to get 2/5, and that's your answer. Next, the square root of 250 lies between which pair of integers? Alright, so for this you need to memorize your perfect squares. Alright, so the square root of 13, which is the lowest answer choice given here. So 13 squared is 169. Then the highest number square root, which is 18. 18 squared is 324. And the middle number between those two numbers is 15. Alright, so what we can do is we can take 15 squared. 15 squared is 225. Alright, now we can solve this problem. So we need to know the square root of 250 lies between which pair of integers. Okay, so one thing to know with your square roots from the number 10 squared to 20 squared is that the difference between them is usually between 20 to 30. So that means the gap between 15 squared, for example, and its next square root is going to be somewhere around 20 to 30, which means it is possible that 250 lies between the 15 squared and 16 squared. So what is 16 squared? 16 squared is 256. Alright, is 250 between 225 and 256? Yes, which means the square root of 250 is between the integers 15 and 16, and that's your answer. Next, 148 plus 73 equals what in Roman numerals? Alright, this is a pretty simple problem, and I actually have a full video just on Roman numerals, which will be linked in the pin card at the top. But let's continue with this problem. Alright, so 148 plus 73 equals what in Roman numerals? So to solve this, we have to add 148 and 73, then convert it into Roman numerals. So 148 plus 73 is just 221. Alright, now the things you need to know about Roman numerals is their values. So you have I, which is 1, V is 5, X is 10, L is 50, C is 100, D is 500, and M is 1000. That's all you pretty much need to know for this problem. Now, there's also one special rule about Roman numerals, and that's the rule of 4s and 9s. If you have a number such as 4 or 9, or any 40 or 90 or 400 or 900, you want to write those numbers as one before the next number. So 4 would be IV instead of I. That is not correct. It's IV. 9 would be IX instead of V. I. And same thing with numbers like 40 and 90 and 400 and 900, where in this case 40 would be XL, which is 10 before 50, 90 would be XC, which is 10 before 100, 400 would be CD, which is 100 before 500, and 900 would be CM, which is 100 before 1000. Alright, now that we know these rules for Roman numerals, we can solve this problem. So we have to break this down to its individual place values, which are 200, 20, and 1. Alright, so 200 in Roman numerals. 200 in Roman numerals is just CC, which is 100, 100, 200. Alright, 20. 20 in Roman numerals is just XX because there's 10, 10, which is 20. Next 1. 1 is just I. Alright, now we put these together to get CCXXI. And that's your answer. Next, if pi equals 3, what is the measure of the diameter of a circle with an area of 108 feet squared? Alright, so pi is equal to 3 first off. So they're asking us to find the measure of a diameter with an area of 108 feet squared. Alright, so first we need to find out the formula for diameter. Diameter is just 2r, where r is radius. So 2r is equal to diameter. Now, how do we find the radius? Well, the formula for area, which is already given to us, is pi times r squared. So what we need to do is, we know that pi r squared in this case is equal to 108. And we know that pi is 3, so 3 times r squared is equal to 108. However, this r squared is in parentheses. Alright, now what we need to do is, we need to divide out the 3 to figure out what r squared is. So divide this by 3 to get r squared is equal to 36, which means r is 6. So now we know what our radius is, and we know 2 times the radius is the diameter. So 2 times 6 is 12, and that's your answer. Next, Sheila scored an 84 and an 85 on her first 2 quizzes. What must Sheila score on her 3rd quiz to have a quiz average of 89? Alright, this is actually a pretty simple problem if you use the right logic. So, she wants to have a quiz average of 89. So, there's 3 quizzes in total, right? So, what we need to do is we need to do 89 times 3. 89 times 3 is just 267. Now, how does this number help us? Well, this number is the total sum of all 3 quizzes combined to have a quiz average of an 89. We already know what the first 2 quizzes are, which is 84 and 85. Those add up to 169. So we can just subtract 267 minus 169 to figure out what she must score on her 3rd quiz to have that 89 average. So 267 minus 169 is 98, and that's your answer. Next, number 16, 12,345 times 9 plus 6. Alright, it's important that we do the 12,345 times 9 first before adding the 6, otherwise our entire problem will get messed up. Alright, now let's solve this. So we have 12,345 times 9. So we can break this up into its individual place values and solve this problem. So first, 5 times 9. 5 times 9 is 45, so we're done with the 5. Next, 4 times 9. Well, this is actually a 40 because it's in the tens place. So 40 times 9 is 360. Next, 300 times 9. 300 times 9 is 2,700. Next, 2,000 times 9. 2,000 times 9 is 18,000. Next, 10,000 times 9. That's just 90,000. Alright, now we can add these up. So that's 5, 10. So you write a 0 and carry the 1. This becomes 4 plus 7, which is 11. So we write 1, carry the 1. This is also 11. So write 1, carry the 1. And this is also 11. But there's no more place value, so we just write 11 here. So now we get 111,105. But now we have to add 6. So when we add 6 to this, we get 111,111, and that's your answer. Next, number 17, 1.5% of 600. Alright, so on this problem, they've given us 1.5% of 600 to find. So when we're dealing with the 1.5%, you need to be very careful not to mess up. So in this problem, what we're going to do is we're going to find 1% and then multiply that by 1.5 to get our answer. Alright, so let's find 1% of 600. So that's 600 times 0.01, or 600 times 1 over 100. That is just 600 over 100, which is 6. Alright, so we know 1% is equal to 6. Now we need to find what 1.5% is. So we can do that by multiplying 6 times 1.5. 6 times 1.5 is just 9, and that's your answer. Next, what is the value of x in this picture below? Alright, so first we need to know that this line right here is a straight line, meaning all angles on it are 180 degrees. Alright, now we can use this to solve this problem. So this entire angle right here is 180 degrees. But now we need to find what this angle is. And the reason for that is, to solve for x, we need to know what this total angle is. We solve for this total angle by finding the other two parts, which is right here and right here. Alright, so first, what is this angle? Well, we can do 180 minus 151 to get the measure of this angle, because if it adds up to 180 and this part is 151, then the other part must be 180 minus 151, which is 29. So this angle right here is 29 degrees. And we know this angle right here is 90 degrees because it's a right angle. That means we know that 90 plus 29 is the sum of these two angles. How does that help us find the third angle? Well, in a triangle, all angles add up to 180 degrees. That means 90 plus 29 is 119. So the sum of these two angles right here, which is 119, should be the supplement to the angle, which is right here. The supplement means that they add up to 180. So we can find the other one by subtracting this from 180. So that's 180 minus 119. That is 61. Alright, so now we know that this angle right here is 61. And we can do the same thing with this triangle right here. So we have the angles 54 and 38. So we can add them to get 92 degrees. That means that this angle right here is 180 minus 92 degrees, which is 88 degrees. Alright, now finally we have enough material to solve for x. So we have the 88 degrees here and 61 degrees here. This entire angle adds up to 180. That means if these two parts is 88 plus 61 degrees, which is 149 degrees, then x is just 180 minus 149 degrees, which is 31 degrees, and that's your answer. Next, 1/3 of 1/2 of a number n is 200. So 1/3 of 1/2 of n is equal to 200. What is the value of 1/4 of n? Alright, so this is actually a pretty simple problem. All we have to do is figure out what n is by itself. The way we do that is we get rid of these fractions in front of n one at a time. Let's start with 1/3. The way we cancel out 1/3 is multiplying it by its reciprocal, which is just 3. So the 3 cancels out the 1/3 here, and we can multiply this side, which is 200, times 3. So this becomes 1/2 of n is equal to 200 times 3, which is 600. Now we can get rid of the 1/2 by multiplying both sides of the equation by 2, which is the reciprocal of 1/2. So this just becomes n by itself, and this becomes 600 times 2, which means n is equal to 1,200, because 600 times 2 is 1,200. Alright, now we need to figure out what 1/4 of n is. We know that n is just 1,200, so 1/4 of 1,200 is equal to 300, and that's your answer. Next, how many prime numbers are there between 10 and 60? Alright, between the numbers 10 and 60, we need to find all the prime numbers. A prime number is just a number that can only be divided by 1 in itself. So let's just list them out. So, first 11, then 13, then 17, then 19, then 23, then 29, then 31, then 37, then 41, then 43, then 47, then 53, and 59. These are all the prime numbers between 10 and 60, because first of all even numbers are automatically divisible by 2, except for the number 2 itself, and all the other odd numbers are divisible by another number, such as 3, 6, 7, one of those numbers. Alright, that means we just have to count how much numbers are here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 13 total numbers, and that's your answer. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to show your support. These videos take a lot of effort to make, and I would really appreciate it.